Okay, now welcome to this third video of project writing research project. In this video we are going to cover first the constraints, means the limitations of project planning, and then projects in colleges or universities, and finally we will see types of projects with their scopes. As you have seen in the first two videos, in which the first video was about the basics, in which we covered the definition, the etymology, the scope, or the difference of project writing with other things. Then in the second video we saw project planning or project management, which was based on 6 steps. So those 6 steps are very much important. If you are planning your project by following those steps, definitely your project is going to be one of the best one. In this third video, the starting point, the first point is constraints of project planning, means limitations. What are the limitations of projects? Now, research works are also limited, but they have some bigger or some vaster time limit, but projects are generally given within short period of time. So project planning or management is bound by triple constraints that are there are 3 limitations of project writing or project planning. First one is calendar. Calendar means you have deadline also, means you have only 15 days, you have only the time till 30th of March, 30th of April, just like this. So that's why the first limitation is calendar. Means you do things within the time limit, within the date you have been appointed or you have been given or allotted. Then costs. Cost means the money, the cost that you are having for completing your project. So everything should be done in that cost. Suppose you have been with you, or you have with you 5,000 rupees or 10,000 rupees, and you have to complete your project within that cost. So don't go beyond the cost. Then the third one is preset norms of quality, which is very important. Means what type of quality your project is going to give, what quality will it have, or what would be the qualitative aspect of your project, you will have to decide. Suppose your project is done within time, within the cost, but it is of no quality, so it is also not a good project. That's why these 3 limitations are equally important to follow, equally important to consider. Now, project management triangle or project planning triangle. If you are planning your project, so keep in your mind this triangle in which 3 things are there: scope, cost, time, and in the middle of this triangle is quality. Means quality is the integral part. Quality is everything in project writing. That's why don't skip or don't ignore this aspect of project writing. It should be having some quality or high quality that can be presented, that can be delivered to the targeted audience or people. Then use of projects in schools and universities. You see, according to me, this slide is the most important slide because we are having this type of project, school project, university project. That's why this slide we will study in little detail. Let's see. So you see, use of projects in schools and universities. Projects and universities basically have one purpose, that the students should be active in doing something instead of theoretical knowledge, instead of getting only theoretical experiences in the premises, but they do something. So project is given one of these purposes. For example, at schools or colleges or universities, a project is a research assignment given to a student which generally requires a larger amount of effort and more independent work than that involved in a normal essay assignment. See, means a school project is little bit larger, it has a little bit vaster scope than an essay assignment. It means it is not a real project in its real sense, but it is a project. It is somewhat bigger than essay writing and somewhat lower than the actual project that are done in real world. So you see, IT school or colleges or universities, a project is a research assignment. Means a teacher or academicians or your trainers give you projects given to a student, which generally requires a larger amount of effort. So here students by themselves exert or use their efforts, and this is more independent work. Means here the students are not dependent on their teachers, they don't get guidance again and again. Only once they are given the topic, and then students are free to do their work within the time limit with the particular cost. Then second point, it requires students to undertake their own fact finding and analysis, either from library or internet search or from gathering data empirically. See, means here students are independent in these three things. First, they find facts. Then second, they do the analysis of the data that they get. And the third one is they make use of library or internet for searching the data, and then they gather the data empirically. Empirically means by their own experiences, by the first hand experience. Means they are not second handers, they don't get ideas from others, but they do everything second handed, means first handedly, and means single handedly. Empirically means by themselves they do that thing, they get the experience of that thing and then complete the project. And the third point about universities or schools projects is the written report that comes from the project is usually in the form of a dissertation, which will contain sections on the project's inception, analysis, findings and conclusions. See, these four parts are given in the written copy, the written end result of the students, means which is prepared by the student. So first you see, school and university projects are in the form of report, which is submitted to their teachers or to the person who has assigned the project. So it is the written report. That written report is also called a dissertation. This dissertation, you see, dissertation and thesis both are same, but with a little bit difference. Dissertation means the thesis which is prepared by the student during their education years, and thesis means the report, the research that was done by the PhD holders or researchers. That's why that is called a thesis. And students, whatever they prepare, whatever they search, whatever they do project upon is called a dissertation. And you see, students do these four things. Inception means the beginning of the project is done by the student themselves. And then analysis, they analyze the data that they collect. And then findings, they make use of all the findings of the project. And finally they get or they reach to the conclusions. So these are the three very important aspects, points of schools and universities projects. I hope you will understand school and university projects and do accordingly things. Then types of projects. See, this is very important thing to know how many types of projects are there. So basically projects are of only two types. First type, which is very grand one, which is also called a grandiose projects, are called strategic projects. Strategic projects. Now, what are the characteristic features of strategic projects? First one, strategic projects or a project has a primary goal of planning the competitive advantage by focusing on the organization's overall directions. See, strategic projects are very, very broad in their scope. First thing, because their primary goal of gaining the competitive advantage. For example, two countries are doing the same project. It means those who will complete the project first will become the greater or more powerful than the other one. For example, reaching to the moon, getting to the moon was the project for which Russia and America both were trying very hard. You see, Russian countries or Russia was actually trying very hard to reach or to get to land on the moon, but after many projects it failed. Finally America got there, reached there and landed on the moon for the first time. So America got the advantage of in this competition, or get the advantage in this competition. Why? Because their project was greater or better than the Russian projects. So this is called a strategic project, in which the participants get competitive advantage. Suppose two businessmen are there and both of them want to launch their product in the market, and both of them hired a particular team to do project, and their team goes in the field or on the field and do some that team does the project, and finally only one of the businessmen wins over the other. It means his project was greater, and that project was a strategic project. Then second characteristic feature of a strategic project is it has a long term goal to satisfy needs not included in the funding projects. See, means sometimes in the strategic projects the funding goes beyond the capacity of a particular funding agency. That's why strategic projects are generally beyond the funding projects, and I means they don't include, they don't satisfy. So it has a long term goal, because strategic projects have long term goals. And then the third aspect of strategic project or projects is a strategic project usually has scope as its most critical issue. See, the most important issue in a strategic project is scope. Means what a big or how big scope the project has. Because it is grandiose, it is very means broad. That's why scope is very important. For example, a project can be of a whole country, project can be of a whole industry, project can be of a particular political party. So this is called a strategic project, which is done on a very grand level. Then the second type of projects, that is called a tactical project. Tactical project means all small scale projects. In this type, our school or university projects will also be included. So it is that's why in the bracket it is written tactical projects are trivial or component operational projects. For example, for some bigger operations, this type of projects work as just as component. For example, see, in your classes you are doing project for getting credit. How many credit? Only one credit. You will get only one credit, and if you get the one credit, that credit will be included into your overall credits, and then collectively that one credit will help you to win the degree. So it means your project is tactical project. It is just a component, it is just a part of some operational projects and some bigger projects. Then these are projects that have one operational goal, only one. For example, your project has the goal of winning one credit, which probably does not entail contributions by most members or employees within the organization. So you see, this project you will do singly, alone, without the help of any team, without the help of any expert, or without any other person's help. It means single-handedly you will complete the whole project. That's why your project is tactical project, is somewhat smaller as compared to strategic project. In the projects, meeting a tactical goal on time and within budget are key consideration. See, in the strategic project, scope is most important aspect, but in tactical projects, time and budget, these two are very important. Means you have to do this project within the time, allotted time, and then within the allotted budget, within the given budget. Then they have schedule, cost, or a different set of scope as the primary constraints. And you see, tactical projects have different schedule, they have schedule, then cost, or a different set of scope as the primary constraint. Means it has limitations also. Strategic projects sometimes don't have any limit, especially time limit or cost limit is not there, because they are very very broad in their scope. So this was the second main type of project, that is tactical project, and you should know both of them very well. Then if you have any question, so you can post me those questions, and if I find those questions answerable, so definitely I will answer you and try to satisfy you with the best of my knowledge. And then thank you very much for your listening to my videos and getting the ideas about project writing, and I hope you understand the project writing. You do projects, but without the very very clear or complete understanding of the terminology or of the concept of project. So with the help of this video, I hope you will understand these left out things properly. Thank you very much.